my first prediction, I think Norwich 1, Leicester 1. I don't think Leicester have been on the best of forms recently. Well, they haven't, because they haven't got a lot of goals. Jamie Vardy hasn't got a goal in 9. And they were sort of carried by him when they got the goals. Perez hasn't really been playing that much. Maddison keeps getting yellow cards, and he's not been that well. Pardon me. And I think Norwich will score. They did very well against Liverpool. Unfortunate loss to the league leaders. So I think Norwich will draw to Leicester, 1-1.
This Friday night game, I've gone for a draw between Norwich and Leicester. Leicester haven't been on the best form of recently, and I think Norwich will fancy their chances, especially at home. I think Andre Duda would provide that creative spark in midfield, and Leicester won't be able to cope with it. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
So Norwich Leicester, and I'm going with 3-1 to Leicester. Norwich have been on poor form, and they've had a bad season overall. They had a good start, beating Man City and all, but they've got their hopes too high. Now they're struggling badly. On the other hand, Leicester have had a brilliant season, aiming for top 4. Both teams lost their last games, but I think Leicester will bounce back with a good win here. A good win at Carrow Road, 3-1.
Now for the next game in the M25 derby. Oh God, what a big game. I think that it's going to be 2-1 to Brighton. Palace haven't been on a great form recently. They're getting a win in 6. I think that they lack goals, and they definitely can see that, as they're the bottom goal scorers in the Premier League this year with only 24. 23. So I think that Crystal Palace will get a goal due to Brighton's sloppy defence. But I think their defence themselves isn't that good, so I think they'll lose 2-1. Brighton, on the other hand, I think have good attackers. You could see how they did well against Sheffield United to get a draw in that match. I think that was a good draw against Chris Wilder's side. So I think Brighton, back at their home ground, will get a 2-1 win.
I've chosen for a Brighton 2-0 win here in the M25 derby because Crystal Palace have had the worst scoring record this season, and I don't think it's going to help them here. Wilfried Zaha, the one player that might shine though is Wilfried Zaha, but he'll face a big test against Matthew Ryan, who I feel is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. But I think it's going to be a 2-0 Brighton win, as Brighton are solid at the back and good in the attack. And Crystal Palace are in not the greatest form.
Now for the derby, Brighton Crystal Palace. Both teams on not the best of runs. Crystal Palace did win their last game against Newcastle. I don't think they will be able to pull off something magical out of the Amex will go, and will end up in a stalemate 1-1.
Bournemouth-Chelsea, and I think that Bournemouth will win 2-1. Obviously, over the last few games, Chelsea haven't done that well against Bournemouth. They've only beaten them once in their last 5 games against them, losing to them 3-0 at Stamford Bridge in the 17-18 season, 4-0 at Vitality last season, and indeed 1-0 this season in Vitality in Stamford Bridge. I think that poor run will continue for Chelsea against Bournemouth, as Bournemouth will pick up a 2-1 win over the Blues.
I'm going for a Bournemouth win here because I think Bournemouth are Chelsea's bogey team, I guess, in that they've beaten them at home this season, and last season they beat them 4-0, and the season before that they beat them 3-0. So I always pay respect to bogey teams, and now I'm going to continue with the trend and go for a 1-0 Bournemouth win, because it always seems that whenever Chelsea win, they always lose the next game.
And now for the game that us Blues fans always hate to see, Chelsea versus Bournemouth. at the Vitality. We never win there. We never beat Bournemouth. We lost to them early in the season. So I think it's got to be Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 1. Maybe I think someone like Aspilicueta or Kovacic would get consolation. But we'll lose 2-1.
Now, moving on to West Ham Southampton. I think that it will be West Ham 1, Southampton 2. Danny Ings will score twice. Danny Ings has been great as a great striker, and he showed that this season. At the beginning of the season, I was thinking, why the hell did Southampton re-get Danny Ings after his alright loan spell? I thought they were going to go to someone of a higher calibre. Like, probably, I don't know. But I think they'll get a Danny Welbeck or something. But no, they went for Danny Ings, and boy, what a right decision that was.
Now on to West Ham Southampton, but I think it's going to be a West Ham win because West Ham were unfortunate in their Monday night defeat to Liverpool, and I think they have the ability to win here against Southampton, who have not been on the greatest form but still in great form, especially with Danny Ings. Also, Shane Long could get the goals as well, but I'm going for a West Ham win because I think Southampton are just quite inconsistent at the moment.
And now for West Ham Southampton. West Ham got so close versus Liverpool, almost ended the run of the Scousers but couldn't. So I think they'll probably come in with their heads held up high. But Southampton, both teams are struggling, so I'm going with a 1-1 draw.
Now on to Newcastle Burnley at St James's Park. I don't think that Newcastle's form hasn't been at top recently. Obviously it hasn't, suffering a 4-0 loss to Arsenal and then losing to Crystal Palace with 10 men, but they didn't have 10 men all the match. So I think Newcastle have been very sloppy recently, so I think that they'll lose 2-1 to Burnley.
Newcastle Burnley, I've gone with a 1-1 draw despite the difference in form. Man City's ban from the UEFA Champions League means that Burnley could have a chance in going into Europe, but home advantage means that I think Newcastle will get a draw.
Now for Newcastle Burnley. Both teams, one team struggling, they were on the Champions League spot a few weeks ago, competition for the Champions League, and the other team that is 3 points off 5th place Burnley, which could be an automatic Champions League qualification if Man City's appeal is unsuccessful, which it looks like it will be. So I think Burnley are going with a 2-1 win.
Moving to Watford-Liverpool, and I think Liverpool will get a 3-0 win over Watford. I don't know why, but I just think that Watford are in very full form recently, and it's just showed this season. They had that only good spell when Nigel Pearson first took in charge.
A team battling against relegation against an almost certain title winner, and I'm going for a draw. But you might be thinking, why? Well, I think Liverpool have just been relying on too many mistakes from the opponents, and I think their luck's going to run out soon. That's why I'm going for a draw.
And now for the team that's undefeated against the team that's battling for relegation. Ever since Nigel Pearson has come in, Watford have been brilliant, but have been struggling in their past few games. So I think they'll probably lose this one at home to Liverpool with a 2-0, a fair result, I think.
Now moving on to Everton-Manchester United, where I think Everton will get a 2-1 win. A 1-1 draw at Old Trafford earlier this season under chairman Duncan Ferguson. I'm sure with a pure proper manager, Carlo Ancelotti will get the win over the Red Devils.
I'm going for a 3-1 Everton win here because I think Everton have got a good record against the big six teams like Man U, and I just think Man U are so inconsistent and Carlo Ancelotti's side are on great form.
Anyway, now Everton Man U. Ever since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, Man United have been brilliant, beating us 2-0 unfortunately, and of course their brilliant game against Watford, with Bruno Fernandes scoring his first goal for the club. So They're going to put on a good performance at Goodison Park. Everton coming off that 3-2 loss to Arsenal, so I think they'll lose 3-1.
Now moving on to Tottenham Wolves. Wolves, who have been on exceptional form this season, who are surprisingly in 8th after all their work, and they've done so well, getting 2 wins over Man City and so on and so forth. Up against this Tottenham team that will probably lack the goals. They have no Kane and no Son due to injuries. It's quite unfortunate, but they don't have them, and that's quite painful for Tottenham. I think they will get a goal through either Steven Bergwijn or Lucas Moura, but I think Wolves will get on top of them with Diego Jota on firing form recently, Raul Jimenez as well, and such as Ruben Neves.
I'm going for a 2-1 Wolves win. It's a game for us Spurs fans, but it's going to be even harder without Kane or Son. Wolves are on absolutely brilliant form, and don't see us winning here, so I'm going for a 3-1 Wolves win. But every time Eric Lamela comes on, we always seem to improve, so hopefully he's pushing for a start on Sunday.
One of the best games, Spurs versus Wolves. Spurs have been terribly recently, obviously with Harry Kane and Son Heung-min out, against the Wolves side, who have been brilliant. Beating 4-0 against, obviously bottom side La Liga, but in Europa League, but that's a huge win. I think they're going to humiliate Spurs here, winning 3-1.
Final match, and it's the Carabao Cup final. Manchester City versus Aston Villa. And I think you already know who I'm going to say will win. Obviously, Manchester City. After their great win against Aston Villa in the league, with Aguero breaking 2 records in this one match, which is really good. And also he scored a hat-trick in that 6-1 win over the Villains. I think that Aston Villa will get a goal for hope, but I don't when they're 2-1 down. But I don't think it will be enough to get them a win.
You may disagree about this, but I'm going for an Aston Villa win here in the Carabao Cup final. Yes, City may have come off from a brilliant win at Madrid, but I still think Aston Villa are going to win here because City lacks squad depth, and that's what's important because now all their players are going to be all tired. And I still think that Aston Villa are going to go down, but at least when I think they go down anyway, they'll have a bit of cup trophy to hold on to.
And now for the Carabao Cup final, City 5, Villa 2. City are a team all about goals. They have shown in that last Leicester game nothing can stop them. UEFA can try stop them, they won't. They're going to carry the momentum. They can still win cups. Villa, I think, will put on a good performance though. They lost 6-1 earlier, but I think Villa will try and just put on the best performance. They know they're probably not going to win this game, so I'm going with 5-2 City. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my channel, Classic Sports.